Is guacamole a fruit salad?
What is the best milkshake for bringing boys to the yard?
Ostriches are dinosaurs.
Don't piss off old people. New game
What do you mean it gives you Arby's mouth?
for artisanal muck duck balls.
I think they call that autofellatio.
I want to high five a shark.
Welcome to Bar Banter. Relax, have a drink with us as we debate the most controversial topics in the world today.
On today's podcast, we talk about
Wait, Travis. Before we do that,
Whoa.
Ben and I have an update
Ooh.
on the last episode, which hasn't aired yet,
Ooh.
but this will also air after that. So in that podcast, we talked about the best burrito chain.
Yes.
Ben and I did some homework. We went and tried out Willie's, which is an Atlanta chain burrito restaurant, very, very similar in style to Moe's. And I will say, Rick, after considering all the evidence and with my experience at Willie's, I am now ready to say that I think Willie's is the best.
But it doesn't say welcome to Moe's, and I understand that.
There's some
I love that
nostalgia
too.
there, and I get it.
Because
But
I
the
always
portion
respond
size,
with,
like that was 2 meals for me. That was a 2-meal burrito.
Hell yeah, it
had to have
was.
been like 3 or 4 pounds. Free chips, free salsa. The salsa was good. And it was $10, like including tax. It was like $10.78 or something like
Yeah,
that.
I
It
get
was
it.
ridiculous.
Dude, it was
So
solid.
yeah, I'm on the train for that one.
See, I yell back at Moe's when they say welcome to Moe's. I respond with I feel welcomed to Moe's every time. So I get it because there's double.
Thankful to be here.
Well, you know
There's
what?
a double.
I
for
think
me.
I think Willie's is trying something because even Drew and I, when we were in line, we're like, dude, this first kid that's doing the tortillas, he's got way too much energy
He
for
looked
tortilla
happy
guy.
to be there.
Like he was just excited.
I mean, all he was doing was steaming tortillas and putting meat, beans, and rice on it.
He was getting into it. So yeah, okay. This is hard because
I just gotta. I mean, I love Moe's,
I
and I'll
appreciate
continue
that.
to go there.
I
I'm-
appreciate that feedback.
the entire experience down to the table of college girls, maybe 18-year-old high school girls.
My favorite
Um,
part.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Willie's was the best, man. It was
Travis
solid.
is fuming internally, but
No. I enjoy Willie's.
Dude, it was a massive burrito. Like it was 2 meals, one
I
at
was
7
very
o'clock and one
surprised.
at 10 o'clock midnight.
And with that, continue.
and so about rivalries.
That was my segue. I thought I'd give it a try, Travis.
Oh my god.
I edit this podcast. I can cut all that out.
Yeah, it's fine.
We talk about what is the correct way to get dressed. We're gonna probably stick to maybe a male paradigm of getting dressed, but that's besides the point. What is a rivalry? And lastly, we go ahead and name the next 5 Fast and Furious movies: Fast 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. But first, Benjamin Trimmer, what are you drinking?
One a little different tonight. I've been drinking a lot of cocktails lately. So wine. I'm actually drinking a little Grenache, a little Spanish Grenache. So we'll go with Garnacha. It's called Latitude 40. It's pretty good. Drew Mullis, what are you drinking?
I'm actually double fisting a little bit with my usual tequila, but I wanted to try something different. So I got a little hard cider out of Atlanta Cidery, and it's really good. It's pomegranate, too sweet. So thoroughly enjoying it. Richard Masson, what are you drinking?
So I pre-gamed tonight at Buffalo Wild Wings. So I am continuing my Buffalo Wild Wings phenom, and I'm going with my Blue Moon, tried and true. Travis, what are you drinking over there?
Well, I was upstairs before I came down to the cave, and I grabbed my Bacardi Grand Reserve 10-year. So it's an extra rare gold rum. Just brought the whole bottle down so I could refill, and it will be added to the slowly growing bar you see that at least you three see that is here. The rest of the listeners can't see. I really need to dress up this place.
That bullet I see back there?
Yeah, I gotta dress up the place. How should we do that?
We make that like its own topic.
More
where
bottles.
Stop it.
We pimp Travis's
It's
podcast
bad.
cave.
Yep.
Don't.
Guys, lots of controversy about the correct way to get dressed. I think we're going to agree on a lot of things, and then there's a couple of things. There might be some exceptions that I want to throw out there that you guys may initially disagree with, but I want to try to convince you that it's okay during these exceptions. Is that good? Everyone kind of
I'm
like
here for the
let,
challenge.
Go for it.
let's all like be calm about this because I know this
I
is
won't
like
know until you present your arguments.
There,
Can we differentiate at least from the work dress
yeah.
to the casual getting dressed?
I have those thrown in there. I'm
Okay.
gonna start with casual, and then
Okay.
some of my exceptions are potentially for work.
Got
So
it. All right.
we're gonna
All
go
right.
casual.
Yeah,
and I'll
let's
be like,
just,
oh,
yeah.
So right off the bat, underwear goes on first. I think we can all agree that's pretty standard. I mean, obviously, it's sometimes a t-shirt, but most of the time, it's your underwear. If you say
Okay.
socks, Ben, I'm gonna lose it.
If you say shirt
yeah.
first, I'm gonna
If socks is
punch you in
number
the
one,
face.
yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes, like your shirt's there when you get out of the shower and you just throw it on. But like in general, I'm just saying, like it can happen. 99% of the time, it's gonna be your underwear.
I put my hat on first.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that too. I've done that as well.
Ben never
But-
takes a hat off, honestly.
It's true.
It's rare.
Next, this is where we could start getting controversial. After underwear, I go shirt. Everyone okay with that?
Nope.
I'm just gonna let you finish.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and finish.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
After that, I immediately go and put deodorant on because I would put deodorant on after the shirt because I don't want to get the lines on the shirt.
That is okay.
Yeah, that might be a controversy. I just needed to throw that out there. Then I go pants, socks, and shoes. And pants is the old top to bottom shorts, whatever goes on the lower half of your body. I'm just saying pants.
Can I ask you a picky question out of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if you're an undershirt man. Does that mean if you are wearing a button-down shirt, that is the same order, or is that part of your exception list?
It could be part of the exception list. Ever since I started working from home, I have not had to
Sure.
wear a whole lot of undershirts. If I do wear a button down, I will wear an undershirt. However, I will still, and here's where it kind of maybe the exception comes into the room. The exception comes in is I like to put my shirts on first because
You're cold.
if I'm tucking in my shirts, it's much easier to pull the pants up over the shirt and button them versus having to like stuff the shirts into the pants because then it gets all wrinkled. Or at
So
least
it's safe to say you are always a shirt first man, no matter the.
I would.
Okay.
The only time where I would say, and this is, I guess, might be the exception, is hey, I have a button down I have to wear and it's hella wrinkled.
Sure.
And I
sure.
gotta iron it, so I gotta go. I'll put the pants on first to go iron it, because I just don't want to stand around in my underwear.
Yeah.
So like for
But
convenience,
assuming
and-
everything's ready.
yeah.
you're a
I'm
shirt
a
first-
shirt
okay.
first man, and then I did say socks and shoes, and this is where it might get super controversial because I have one exception to the sock shoe rule because I think that's what everyone wants to do. That's the thing that you're supposed to do. The one exception is if the floor is wet, because I am not stepping in socks in water and getting my socks wet. So if the floor is wet, like at the gym or outside, if changing cleats, I'll go sock, shoe. That's the only time it's allowed. Is everyone okay with that? That like, I don't know.
I am okay in
Like,
terms
I'm
of
okay
the
with it being
sock
your answer.
shoe, in
Yeah.
terms of
Again,
your
I'm gonna let
sock
you
sh-
finish.
The sock shoe part, I'm okay with. Because
Yeah,
I wholeheartedly
specifically
agree
that.
with that part. If you are in a scenario where somehow you're essentially, if you're not at home or a home, I'll say it that way. But yes, I too am a sock shoe individual.
I just want to say, if I'm not at home, or again, like Rick said, at a place where I can control it, everything we're talking about goes out the window.
Yeah.
That's
Also
why it's an
agree.
exception.
The amount of variables that you can introduce with not being at home, being at a gym, being out playing sports,
Yeah.
anything is.
I wanted to bring that
There-
up
there's
because
too
I
many.
know that in our thread, that was a controversial opinion of maybe there might be an exception. You guys said nay, and I was like, I think there's one, and I think that's a good thing to call out. But that's my order: is underwear, shirts, pants, socks, shoes. Next,
I'm I'm gonna go next just because we only slightly differ before Ben and Drew go. I am a firm believer in undershirts. Essentially, if I am not wearing a t-shirt, I probably have an undershirt on. So I go underwear first. I put my deodorant on even before I put my underwear on. So
That makes
I
sense if
go-
you're gonna wear an undershirt though. That
Sure. Yeah. So I go underwear, shirt, undershirt. I go at least one layer on top, assuming I'm wearing an undershirt. If I'm just wearing the casual stuff, then I'll go pants and then shirt. But typically I'll go shirt, undershirt, pants, button down / polo / my overshirt, if you will, last. And then obviously shoes. So
what
if
about
I'm
socks?
casual,
sock
What's that?
shoes.
Sock shoes.
oh, sorry. So if I'm socks, I go underwear. I'm going to assume I'm going to work in this situation. I'm going to go underwear, undershirt, pants, socks. No. Pants, shirt, socks, shoes.
Dude, you
is
just
what
almost blew the whole thing up. Okay.
is what I'm
I'm
gonna do.
glad you fixed it.
Raging.
So recap just to make sure: underwear, undershirt, pants, shirt, socks, shoes.
And I'm okay with that. I'm because you've got the extra undershirt. I mean, I don't know if you tuck your shirt in. Like maybe
Usually yes.
okay, so you have to unbutton your pants and then put it back on. Not
Well,
stu-
so
you-
I don't. Yeah. Yes, I would.
You're a
I would
stuffer.
have to
You're a stuffer.
Yes.
Okay. Rick's a stuffer. Got it.
All right. So, yeah, a couple different scenarios. But for me, I mean, underwear is obviously first. I do wear.
Whoa. After last episode, it is not.
Yeah. There's no obvious anymore.
It was either the last episode we released or the last episode we recorded. I don't know anymore. I'm all over the place. But you sleep in socks. So
Yeah.
I haven't finished that episode
But
yet.
I don't put the
Don't tell
socks
me.
on first.
Don't tell me.
I don't know. After that.
What he's saying is there's no obviously anymore.
Right.
Because
Yeah. You can't
us,
say
obviously we wouldn't sleep in socks.
Right.
There is a difference between what I use socks for and when I put them on. This is about putting them on.
What do
What do
you
you
use
use socks for, Ben?
Like any red blood American male. So moving on.
Beating your
Underwear
children.
first.
Gross.
All right. I am an undershirt guy like Rick. So undershirt is number 2, but deodorant goes on before the undershirt. I put my shirts on where like they go straight over my arms and then I pop my arms out. So there's no worry for like deodorant on the outside of the shirt or anything. Undershirt second. All right. Number 3 is the shorts or the pants.
Yep.
But if it's pants, I actually skip to 4 and do socks before pants because I don't like putting socks on when I'm wearing jeans or pants. And that's a big calf thing. Like I got massive calves. So when I wear long socks, I got to roll up jeans, like get the long socks on. That's hard when you have ginormous calves. So I'm going to go with shorts and then socks or socks and then pants.
I'm okay with that because while I don't have your calves, if I'm doing a suit or something, I will put socks on. That does change my order a little bit because
Yes.
I don't want to roll up my pant leg and do all that other stuff. I just want to slip them on before, right? But I would put pants on last in that scenario because I don't want to have to stuff my shirt.
Right. I also don't want to rip the crotch out of the pants in my suit when I'm putting on socks.
Right. So if we're keeping this semi-casual, but so you do that with jeans, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
But let's play it with shorts. Let's go ahead and do shorts. So shorts 3, socks 4. This is where it gets tricky because obviously shoes would be 5. But for me, a lot of times I got to add this in. A lot of times I'll go pick out my hat and then I'll put the shoes on last. So a lot of times it's hat 5 and then shoes 6. So that's my list.
Yeah, and the hat's got to match the shirt a little bit, not like color for color, but like they can't clash.
The odd thing for me, because I'm partially colorblind, I just have to wear a different hat every day. Doesn't it, honestly, my wife tells me if the colors are wrong. I just have to wear a different hat.
That's fair. Okay, I'm not mad at that. And again, if we're talking hats could be one. Let's be
Right.
honest. Hats could be one.
Can I get the non-casual order again one more time?
Yeah, non-casual is underwear first, undershirt second, pants third because you're tucking in socks third, pants fourth, tucking in the undershirt into the pants. For all you losers out there, don't tuck them into the boxers.
Who's doing that?
Losers. Losers. are.
Losers. Fifth
We
is
just lost half our audience.
So
It's like-
two
it's
people.
like 5
cool.
You nerds.
Sweet.
Fifth is the overshirt, and then sixth the shoes.
So you are also a overshirt stuffer.
So it depends. If I'm tucking it in, no, they go on before the pants. But most of my overshirts, like I don't tuck in my polos most of the time. Half the time I wear button downs, I don't tuck them in. The only time I tuck in a button down is if it's like going to like a wedding or my old job. But if I'm wearing a button down, a lot of times I wear it untucked.
That's
See, I would argue, and I know this is gonna ruffle feathers, and maybe I'm just not good at putting clothes on, but I would argue we're all stuffers
no.
because even if you put your shirt on first and
You still have to do a
you
little
pull
bit of
your
stuffing.
pants up, like you're not it
It's
doesn't just fall in there. You got to do some adjustment and do some little
Quasi
finger
stuffer.
stuffing in there.
I would say there's negligible difference between pulling up the pants over a shirt and stuffing a shirt into pants that are already on.
Let me ask you this: I've called at least two of you out for being stuffers. Are you unbuttoning the pants, unbuttoning the belt, potentially kind of like pulling them apart, and then so you're belted in and you're taking the shirt and you're just jamming it in between your waist?
No. Hold on,
No.
because no, because you're no. The belt doesn't go on until I am ready to go out the door. So I have the pants on, and we're assuming a lot when you say I button them first. So
Wait, what? Why would
I
that be?
don't-
I assume if you
I
put them
put-
on, you're buttoning them.
no, because I know
Because
I'm
if
gonna have
you-
to
if you-
I'm gonna have to tuck my shirt
Okay,
in, so I leave
the-
them
I-
unbuttoned.
I made that assumption.
Yeah.
You're doing it all in one motion.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's not even what.
It's
It's
not like I'm
necessarily
waiting
one
30
motion.
minutes to put the overshirt
Well, yeah,
on. Or my
yeah. So
button
like
up.
it depends on. So this is. I guess I'm going to draw on Travis's exceptions here real quick. So it depends on what I'm doing, right? Like, am I making breakfast? Like if I'm making breakfast, I'm going to button them. If I'm got activities to do before I put my shirt on, yes, I will button the pants.
and then you
because that's-
unbutton them.
Yes.
Okay,
However,
that's not
if
stuffing.
if I am getting, if it goes shirt and then pants, I'm not even buttoning them. I'm just putting the pants on first
Right.
and leaving them
If I gotta
unzipped. or that.
Right.
if I gotta poop,
Right, you should
Then I have to
before the
get-
shower.
then I have to
where
undress
I've
and take
already
another
got
shower. We have
I'm
to
taking
start
my
all
pants
over.
off.
because
To
it
me-
ruins the day.
To me, a stuffer in my head, because I've seen this way too many times, oddly, is that 17, 18-year-old kid who's slightly late to work and he's got like a button down he's got to put, and he's just shoving his shirt in because they're already buttoned and they're already a belt on there. And
Yes,
that's what I
I'd
thought
agree
you
You
with
were
that.
always
doing.
undo the belt and the button.
No,
and
I-
the
That
zipper,
makes me
yeah,
feel
yeah,
better.
then you
I
put
didn't
it in
know.
there.
I'm
Yes,
a completionist. So when my
sorry,
pants are
if-
on, they're on. They're signed,
No.
sealed, and delivered. Like,
Now, yes, what Drew said.
Even
So
if I'm
I-
on in public, I'm turning around so nobody can see me, and I'm
Well, yeah,
undoing
it's
my
an event.
pants so I, can
wanna
put
ma-
that shit in there.
inquiring,
But yes.
inquiring minds.
Have
I
you
learned
ever
fair.
put on jeans in the driver's seat? That's
I'm
hard.
glad we
Absolutely.
went into that because
Yeah.
I wouldn't want Travis to think that's what I was doing
That's what I thought.
as I got ready.
I was a little concerned for all of you.
As you should have been.
Yeah.
As you should have been.
Drew, go ahead.
As I've mentioned before on this podcast, I like being naked
Yeah, you do.
a lot. So when I'm at home, I am usually not dressed in much unless A, I'm on camera with you guys, or B, I'm just about to go about my day. Or
Why do you
whatever.
put on clothes for us?
You know what we like.
Yeah. I mean, I am mostly unbuttoned right now. So my routine is based strictly on I'm about to head out the door, which means I'm showering. I'm doing all my stuff like putting on deodorant, hair product, trimming the beard, that kind of thing. Assuming all of that is done, I'm dry, everything's good to go, and I'm putting clothes on. My order is this. And there's one caveat within it. So underwear first. obvi. Socks,
Mm.
second.
Nice.
Mm.
I like socks because I have two kinds of socks, either my short socks, like black socks, ankle socks, or my long socks. And we touched on it. If I'm putting on long socks, I don't like to have the pants on for that because they ride up. So it's just become a habit to put the socks on second in the order for any type of socks. Then it's pants. And then the only break I might have in my routine is like maybe I want another cup of coffee before I leave, or catch up on Reddit, whatever. I don't like to have a shirt on like that. I run hot. So I'm an undershirt man myself. So I will have, if I'm going about a couple like errands or whatever, I'll leave the shirt off, and then it goes undershirt, overshirt, and then shoes, and then belt and other stuff, wallet, knife, pen, that kind of thing. And then hat or like other overclothes, that type of thing.
I get that. The socks, though, being second, can't get behind that.
Yeah,
Why not?
Buck socks.
Well, I guess
I don't want to
because
have
like
because I mean,
Well,
like
'cause
I'm always wearing long stuff. Like I don't wear shorts ever, unless I'm like going to the pool. So I've always got pants on. It's uncomfortable to pull the pants all the way up over my legs and then pull the socks
Nope.
up. So
Can't
why
get
not?
behind it.
Travis, what are on your feet right now?
I happen to be wearing socks because my basement is cold. So there
That's
There
the
are some-
only reason I would ever have socks on in the house is if I'm cold. Which I am right now. So
Are you wearing socks, Drew?
I do have socks on at the moment. So I have a kind of similar undressing routine, but there's a specific like part of it that's like my everyday carry, is what people call it.
Can I
So it
undress you
includes- No.
Yeah.
I mean, you have before, so
with my eyes?
so it includes my belt, my wallet, my keys, my knife, my pen, my notebook, anything that I carry on my person that's not clothing items, and all of it goes on to the shelf that I have on my wall. And so I have all my belts hanging up there. I have my place where my wallet goes and all of my stuff, and like, throw change and whatever is in my pockets on that thing. And that's a whole ritual. Is like I
You
take
put-
the belt
You
off.
put
I
the
take every-
keys in the key bowl.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you put the
Travis gets it.
keys in the key bowl.
Yeah. But I have a shelf that
But
does
this
that
also,
for me.
for some reason, includes your belt, which blows my mind.
because there's hangers on it. It's it's like a coat rack, but for your everyday stuff.
But you
items.
you don't have the chair that you drape your jeans over after you've worn them that just has the belt in them still.
No,
that
the
chair for
jeans
me,
get
it's a
the jeans get
nightstand, but
ripped
yes.
off
Yeah.
and thrown into the corner until I'm ready to wear them again, which is usually the next day.
But why don't you have the belt on?
Because I don't like the sound of the belt clanking on the floor, Travis. If you really want to get into it, okay?
I do.
I do. We need to know.
I
just
don't
wanna
like that
learn.
sound. I
I just
don't like
wanna
the sound
learn.
of the belt buckle clanking on the ground. I think it's loud and annoying. So I take the belt off and I hang it up with all my other belts so I can choose the next day what belt I'm going to wear. All right.
And so now I know how to annoy Drew in the future.
I'm okay with that, Drew. I
Clank, clank.
appreciate you willing to share that with us, and really just coming clean. And
I have a routine. And
coming
that's
clean.
part
That's
of
a
it.
bad way to phrase it.
Like when you get home, I take off my backpack, I take off my coat if it's cold outside, I take off my belt,
Sure.
wallet, everything I just said, and that all goes there. And that's kind of a mental signifier that my work day is done or whatever
Yeah.
day is done, and we go from there.
I'm okay with that.
The socks being second, Drew, is probably the only thing I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Other than that, I think we've all kind of covered. I don't think we're going to land on a definitive answer just because
No.
there's 100 different scenarios we could cover. But I think the other three of us could probably agree. Don't put your socks on second. That's stupid. Don't do that.
Go fuck yourself.
Occasionally,
No!
or-
No.
Yes.
Sometimes there's an
Get 'em.
event where I pick out socks before anything else.
Get them. Let them know.
Not
Like
true.
I have sports socks. I have socks with wine on it. I have socks with beer on it. I have beer pong socks sometimes, but rarely. It's rare. 5%.
You know what's rare is this commercial break.
Pew, pew.
It's gonna be really funny when I don't put the commercial break there.
I was about to say.
Guys, these arguments are gonna start a rivalry between us.
You nerd.
Nerd.
Is that not a rivalry? Did I get that wrong? What is a rivalry? Someone tell me. Someone explain to me what is a rivalry?
Drew, why don't you go first?
I got nothing on this one.
Wait,
Well,
let me- Let
'Cause
me,
I'm pretty
let
sure
me-
you guys are going sports, and I just want to react to it.
All right.
let me hop off on this one.
All right, go ahead. Rick.
Because I'm gonna start the night controversial because
Mhm,
you can be rivals without it being a rivalry. I want to start with that sentence out in the air.
Yes.
Okay.
Made me take my socks off.
I
And
have.
so-
I'm intrigued. I'm listening.
That's fair, and I'm prepared to give people openings to combat that in a little bit, but that's just what I want to start that out in the Twitter sphere, if you will. So for me, I'm going to start this off in a sports way, but I think you could probably apply this generally in life. So to me, a rivalry is where you have two competitors or opposing forces, if you will. I'm going to go with competitors that are competing in the same area or industry or event where each competitor's actions and results or outcomes influence the other. So for example, let's say Travis and I are both playing football. And I'm gonna take this to the professional football realm. And let's say Travis is AFC, I'm NFC. So for example, I'm the Dallas Cowboys. Travis is the Houston Texans, right? So we were both playing the same.
That's what you think of me.
sport.
That's what you
Okay,
think of me.
reverse it. You're the Dallas Cowboys. I'm the Houston Texans. I wasn't trying to assign blame or anything with that. But what I'm saying is, while they both play in the same event, their results don't necessarily influence one another's position is what I'm getting at. Now,
Correct.
can they at times potentially overlap? Sure. But that is more of, then that brings me back to my initial top sentence where I say you can be rivals, but it not be a rivalry. So for example, you're both in-state rivals, but therefore it's not necessarily a rivalry is kind of where I'm going with that.
So
So go for it. I'm opening up.
So one, you're saying that proximity. You left. I'm trying to ask you questions, and you left.
I'm listening.
So you're saying
Well, so
that.
here,
Hold on. You're saying
can I-
proximity is not necessarily needed,
Can I-
right?
can I change it real quick and make it?
Yeah, go
make
for it.
closer to
Go,
home
go, go,
if
go.
you and I go over this. So let's take Georgia Tech, Georgia in this because I think that's the more. I think that will give us. It will more slam home what I'm going for in this. And
that
I
might be
understand why
different.
I understand why you put your face that way, but hear me out. So because I think my point still holds in this sense. But go for it. So take whatever you're going to say.
Yeah.
with
So
proximity.
what you're saying is proximity doesn't necessarily mean rivalry.
It is not the only
Correct.
thing.
Yes.
It can influence. but
right.
Yes.
It
is not the
can be a part of
only-
it, but yeah, a in-state just because Georgia and Georgia Southern are in the same state does not make them rivals. I agree with that.
Correct.
I agree with that.
Now, one could say before you go on, and this is a little bit of a stretch if you're taking Georgia Southern and Georgia, you could say they are in-state rivals, if you want to put it that way, but it doesn't mean it's a rivalry. But I think that's a less. I don't think that brings home what I'm going for. But at the same time,
hold on. This is what I have. I have the problem with that statement is that a rivalry, to me, and I haven't gotten really to my answer yet, is a competitive, doesn't have to be a sport. It's something competitive between two rivals. Like you have like the two people inside of the rivalry are rivals. And if you're not inside of that rivalry, you're just you're just there. You're just competitors.
I'm on board so far.
So like an example would be Falcons and Tampa Bay, right? Same division, same everything else, same all this stuff. They could be rivals,
Not a rivalry.
but it's not a rivalry, so they're not rivals, right? That's not a thing. They would have. I think you rivals is just the. I'll call it. I guess a pronoun.
The descriptor, if you will.
Yeah, the
Well,
adjective
okay.
to describe the people within a rivalry. So you
I'm okay
have
with that.
yeah.
If that's the way you want to take, I'm okay with that.
So like even if they're in state, like Georgia and Georgia Southern are not rivals. Just because they're yeah. I would even say Texans and Cowboys not rivals.
I would also agree with that.
Right. So you
I
have
just
to
thought
be
it was
in a
a-
rivalry to be rivals.
Okay. All right. If you want to take it that
So
way, I'm okay with that.
I reject your statement
I'm
about
okay
that.
with that.
And I do, however, and I'll just jump into mine. Except Ben, you had a thing you wanted to mention.
I was just gonna go through my list, but go ahead, Travis, if you want to say yours, because mine's a thing. So go ahead.
Rick, I like the word you used at the very beginning.
But before you finish, I have more to add.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you have two people that your actions influence one another in a significant way.
May I?
Yes, go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead. I'll come back at the end if y'all
because I
change
think you're onto something. Because initially my mind went sports, like everyone but Drew, and I went like, oh, it's got to have history, it's got to have amount of time, number of events, closeness, competition. And then I started thinking, like, it's not that though. Like if you boil it down, it's not that. I like the word.
helps.
It helps. It helps fuel it and continue it. But the word you used, influence, that's a huge.
Yes.
I like that word a lot. I think that influence inevitably drives the emotional response.
Yes.
That comes with a rivalry. And if an emotional response either from a fandom or the people within the rivalry, fandom being sports, not necessarily fandom if in like business rivals or anything like that. In a sport, there will be fan rivalries,
yes,
which ultimately refuel the players in it. But if we're talking broad spectrum, it's just the people within the rivalry have to have some sort of emotional response to the other person's influence, and it has to go both ways. That's where I'm going. Like if it's I'd be willing to be swayed on this. I'd be willing to be swayed. It has to go both ways at some point.
Let me hop in on that, and because I think if it ever doesn't go both ways, that just exposes what was a fake rivalry. Because my stance is a true rivalry. It doesn't matter how one-sided it is. Neither side will think of it less as a rivalry.
Yeah. I agree with that. I agree that that's why I said both teams have to have some sort of emotional response.
Okay, then yes. Okay.
Sometimes it could be less of emotional response for a time period, like in sports,
depending on how significant. Yes.
Right. But the influence drives the emotional response by both or 3 or 4, however many rivals, because it could be more, it could be multiples, but it has to be felt by both sides, not necessarily equally, but like in a sustained time period. I don't know how long that is. I don't want to put a number on that, but
I'm okay with that.
Going back,
for you not actually.
I don't want to, because I go back to what I teased earlier about the Georgia Auburn rivalry. It is the South's. It is named the South's oldest rivalry because we have played each other every year for the past, I think it's like 117 years, something stupid. Maybe minus World War II.
I think it's tied for the South's oldest rivalry.
And yeah, but that's just what it's called.
But it's called the South.
And here's why I like that one as the perfect example. And I think it ties in what you were saying as well, Travis, about the emotional response, right? So like one year, so for example, let's say if Georgia beats Auburn one year and, you know, Georgia's going in number 1, Auburn hasn't won a single game, right? So like obviously the emotional response in that specific game might be different. If, you know, if we all expect Georgia to go in and win and Georgia wins, like, okay, maybe there's less a significant response from Auburn or anybody involved because we know what's going to happen.
Right.
Versus an unexpected outcome. Now, but the influence part of that, it drives more because if the upset were to happen, there is much more influences than say Georgia losing to Georgia Tech. Whereas like why it may suck and nowadays it may, and actually even may nowadays, it probably wouldn't even have playoff implications where like, if you were to lose, depending on the year you're having, you're like, fuck it. It didn't really, we're still going to the SEC championship. You know what I mean? Like it's less of an influence because of the overall season implications or the overall outcome. Because so, for example, like you could go 100 years and you could beat Florida 100 times out of 100, and you would still hate Florida as passionately at the end of 100 than at the beginning. Is my point in that. So, like, just because it's in that moment, like maybe it's not equal in terms of performance,
right?
It doesn't change the fact that the rivalry is any less of a rivalry.
Correct.
To me,
Like,
I want to. The only ad I want to change that is potential to influence, not necessarily.
Yeah. I'm okay with I'm okay with potential influence, but like if Vandy beats Georgia 1 year,
correct,
and disrupts our undefeated season, that's not a rivalry. Just because they did influence us, it's got to be like a sustained. Yeah, hilarious, Ben. It's got to be some sort of like. There's got to be some time to build up that rivalry. All right, Drew, Ben, someone else go.
So honestly, guys, you made like 100 really good points as far as rivalries go. I kind of lost track, but
good.
I mean, most of those were really good points. So when I went to defining what is a rivalry, I obviously geared like you guys towards football because I'm a big footballaholic, and probably a lot of the listeners are too. But I made it a little bit more broad to where it's not just football, or Rick, in your case, football.
How dare you? It's soccer. It's a game of culture.
I definitely made it more well-rounded because a rivalry doesn't just have to be sports, kind of like what we're talking about a little bit.
I agree.
You guys covered the gambit on football rivalries. Great. I'm gonna do something a little different. So many, when we do these definitions on this cast, a lot of times we list, hey, it's this, it's this, it's this. Okay. So that's what I did. I've got 3 qualifiers for what is a rivalry. All right. Number 1, something you guys have said 100 times already. Both sides must be in the same type of competition. All right. Or competing for the same thing. Number 2, there is a significance between the 2 rivals that exists not only on the field or in the middle of the competition, but also outside of the competition, whether that's fan power, school prestige.
Sure.
Travis, you talked about proximity. Like there is another factor other than just the only the competition.
Yep.
Number 3, there is a historical significance that is pretty much judged by the masses. Like 5 years, 15 years, 25 years, it's all different, but there is a significance historically between one side of the competition and the other that makes it a rivalry. Now, I'm not saying that, somebody that's brand new to the sport, that's this all amazing person, and then someone's been here 25 years. So let's take golf. Like first year Jordan Spieth came in, he was a freaking ringer, and maybe he was a rival to Tiger Woods. Maybe not. Maybe Rory McIlroy was, but it took them years to become, until Rory and Tiger were actually rivals and like a true rivalry.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't the first year that Rory joined the tour.
Sure.
So I'm going to use a slightly off the wall. Drew, I'm glad you're back from getting that drink, because I'm going to use an off the wall example. Rivals, Satan and God. Number 1, influence. Both sides are in the same type of competition. Okay. They're in the competition for influence. 2, the significance that is outside of the competition, beliefs, people, houses of power, all that. And then number 3, historical occurrences, tons of historical experiences and beliefs. It doesn't matter what it is. Pepsi versus Coke fits all 3 of these.
That's whoa. That's
same
not a
type
rivalry.
of competition. It is a rivalry.
Yeah. No, because Coke has won for a long time.
Coke
that
does
one
not
is waned.
that's one-sided.
You
Pepsi
guys
thinks
are
it's a
in the-
rivalry.
You
Coke
guys
does
are in
not.
the South. You think Coke won.
You're in the
Ask
South,
anybody in the I'm aware.
and
So
I'm
ask
in the North
anybody in the
right
North.
now. I
Ask
will.
anybody in the North, and Pepsi thinks they won.
It
doesn't
the
matter.
South does
They
They
think
don't
think it's a
think that.
rivalry. It's a rivalry
No.
because they're in the same type of competition. there's significance outside of just that main competition, and there's historical occurrences.
First of all, they call it pop, so like no.
Gross.
Go count the 2 liters at the store. The difference between Coke and Pepsi, they're not that far off.
Why are there only 2 liters at the store?
You don't want me to do that right now because I'll win.
I do.
Okay, I'll do it. I don't think my Kroger sells Pepsi actually.
BRB.
So that's my answer.
Drew, go ahead.
I tried to pull it from not just sports.
I'll give kind of an abbreviated. I tend to agree with Ben on this a little bit. I'm not going to go as far as God and the devil. But I'll start out with my number one, historical basis. It's got to have, it can't just be one defining. So if you look at this last championship, TCU and Georgia are not going to be rivals.
No, they're not.
Because of one historical moment where they collided and, it was a fucking blowout. Travis, shut up.
No, I was going to agree with you that if anyone at TCU thinks it's a rivalry after getting like woof woof.
I think geography does have something to do with it, but I think it's polarizing. You're close in geography or opposites. So my example would be like the US and Russia. Historically, opposite sides of the globe for the most part, or you could put China in there as well. Any of our, major national rivals in many different categories, either technology, military force, that kind of thing. Difference in ideology, which can be a lot of different things, either through sports and like the type of college that you have, take like Georgia Tech and Georgia, and then the involvement of your fans or your populace in reinforcing that rivalry as well. And then the last one would be whenever some sort of like game or competition or battle or war is waged, it's not just whether one side wins or loses. It can be like, so Rick, I'll take like the Georgia Tech. If Georgia Tech wins, that doesn't just mean that the rivalry is over. It reinforces for both sides that that's still a rivalry. Hold on, because that's like it's a once in a lifetime kind of occurrence, not once in a lifetime, but it's a rare occurrence that happens. And so for like Georgia fans, if Tech wins, then that's a reinforcement of that rivalry being like, oh yeah, it's the one off year that it happened, blah blah blah. For Georgia, it's just another like, oh yeah, of course we beat them again. But it's the same across the board of like, a skirmish happens or some sort of something happens where the two opposing forces clash, and regardless of the outcome, both sides, the populace, the governing body, the sports team, whatever, come away with it with the feeling that they are still opposing forces in some way or another.
I have a sentence. It's probably not perfect, but it should encompass everything, not just sports. Are you guys ready? I think it's pretty good. It's again not going to be perfect, but it is a rivalry is a sustained influence that invokes an emotional response between two or more parties in a competitive environment.
I like it.
Go for it.
Was that from Webster's dictionary?
No, I literally wrote this. It's on it could be, I don't know. If not, I need to work for Webster's. It's a sustained influence that enables an emotion, that invokes an emotional response between two or more parties in a competitive environment.
Okay with that.
My favorite rivalry, by the way, Vin Diesel versus The Rock.
Thank God.
And on that note,
thank God.
First of all, it wouldn't be Vin Diesel and The Rock. It would be Jason Statham and The Rock. For the true fans out there.
I don't care.
Today's episode is brought to you by Rocket Guitar Repair. Is your guitar beat up, dented, or is there dirt from the 70s still under the controls? Well, you're in luck. At Rocket Guitar Repair, Ray works on everything from acoustic and electric guitars to bass guitars, banjos, mandolins, If it has strings, Ray can fix it. With over 50 years playing, repairing, and building guitars, Rocket Guitar Repair can get your guitar repaired rocket quick. Call Rocket Guitar Repair at 678-400-3062 or visit rocketguitarrepair.com.
Guys, I'm furious. Some would even say fast and furious because the goddamn Fast and Furious franchise named their 10th movie Fast X instead of Fast 10 Your Seatbelts. Perfect opportunity for one of the greatest puns ever, and they squandered it on Fast X, which is Roman for 10. How dare they? So, because of this terrible marketing, naming, whatever bullshit, I propose that the four of us come up with our own names for movies coming out in the future. I'm going to say 11 through 15. I know some of you guys went ahead and named 10. I may have also named 16 through 20. That's besides the point. So I want to hear everyone's movie titles for the Fast and Furious franchise moving forward. Who has a name for Fast 10 Your Seatbelts? That's better than Fast 10 Your Seatbelts.
I'll go because all of my 11 through 15 are based on the start of this new franchise that I'm coming out with for Fast and the Furious. So number 10 is going to be Fast and the Furious Back to the Futures, where they find an old DeLorean with a flux capacitor in it. And the entire cast and crew go back into the future. Wait, hold on. And 11 through 15 are going to be takes on other movies.
No.
With different taglines based on these adventures that take going into different timelines.
I hate you.
It's gonna be good. I promise you, it's gonna be good.
Oh my god!
Anyone else have a name?
I didn't do a 10.
I'm gonna stick with Fast X. Yeah,
because I forgot that they already named it, so I skipped over the 10.
Okay.
That comes out this year, by the way, 2023.
11. Let's go ahead and name Fast and the Furious 11. I want to go last because
I'll go first.
I want to make Drew mad.
I love the movies.
Oh, I'm next after Ben.
You know, they mean a lot to Rick. I know you love these movies. I love them too.
I love these movies. They're my
and they
guilty
have some
pleasure.
of my favorite actors in it.
Not
so
Paul Walker.
I tried to think of like titles
Paul,
that would
rest in peace.
grab me. Yeah, R.I.P. So number 11. Think about the 11. I named it Too Fast and the Devil's Furious. Welcome to Hell, but the Hell is HE11.
Okay. All right.
So Too Fast and the Devil's
right.
Furious. Welcome to Hell.
Okay. I like it. I too tried to incorporate the numbers in mine. I was less creative though. I named my number 11 Fast Forward, but the 11 were exclamation points after forward for me. So I just went Fast Forward. Drew?
Number 11 for me would be Dominic Toretto's Day Off. Where he goes.
God damn it.
I hate you.
And all of them have a car aspect.
Oh my god.
Who
are you? They go back in time, and Dominic is concerned that he's ruined his friend's dad's car, and they have to, through a series of hijinks, fix what has happened with this timeline.
Okay.
I love it.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that, but I'm going to try. Okay.
Oh my god.
The number 11. I used the word 11. I kind of parsed it out a little bit. So I went with even faster.
Okay.
Creative.
Going even faster.
I'm okay.
Got the pun in there. Got it. That's just, it was right staring me in the face. I was like, all right, let's go. I'll jump in for 12. I couldn't really think of anything great for 12, and the only thing that came to me was 12 o'clock, and I was like, Midnight Fury. That sounds like a good Fast and Furious title, Midnight Fury. So that's what I went with.
Nice. All right, my 12. I did kind of a little holiday theme. We're doing this in January, so I went the 12 Days of Fury. 5 golden rims.
Wait. Why 5?
Because it's the song. There's 5 golden rings. There's 5 golden rims.
Yeah,
And
but this is number
It's on
12.
the donut.
Right,
there's-
but those cars don't have donuts.
but there's 4 tires and then the spare. There could be.
They
5
don't
ones.
have
You don't know.
spares. I do
Hey,
know that would
maybe
weigh
they're
the car
stealing-
down.
Maybe they're
That would
stealing
weigh the
5
car
golden
down.
rims.
That
You'll
would weigh
know.
the car down, and they would not be able to go as fast. So each car has four wheels, and that's it. 4 rims,
Days
4
of
wheels.
Fury.
That's it.
Dominic Toretto's wearing a Santa Claus hat on the cover. That's what it is.
I'd watch that.
I would
Drew,
watch that actually.
Drew, what was yours?
So mine is Fast and the Furious Reloaded, where Brian O'Connor doesn't get retired. He gets taken out of the Matrix. I love
But-
so
But
much.
wait, why Brian O'Connor? And why
Why
not
not?
Ludacris's character?
Don't, Travis. Don't.
He's the tech guy.
I know, but he's not the one. He just gets brought
He
out.
would be
because
the one.
because
No,
Paul
no.
Walker died, and I'm trying to bring him back.
No. Ludacris would be the one on the computer being like, "Oh, follow the
There's
White
bridges
Rabbit,"
to you, sir.
whatever
Vin
his name
Diesel
is.
Vin Diesel is the one.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
Bullshit.
Ludacris
He's-
Ludacris can be Morpheus. That's fine.
No.
Y'all are angering me so much by the way you're doing this. Angering me.
Rick,
so
what's
much.
Rick? What's your 12?
For me, I did Fast 12, Faster by the Dozen.
Like cheaper by
Nice.
the dozen.
You
I
were
didn't think about
moving.
that until you said that.
I had one. That was one of my alternates.
That's
like it.
that's
12.
immediately went to cheaper by the dozen. Who's
I
got
like it.
who's got a good 13?
I don't have a good 13, but I'll go first.
Sure.
So this was my Tokyo Drift version. To this one, I did the Fast and the Furious Monte Carlo because you need one spinoff. So I wanted to do like an F1 thing, but I just did Fast and Furious Monte Carlo
I like
because
that.
there's enough sketch people in that one.
I did a little play. Friday the 13th. Murder is faster.
I like that little horror theme to it. I didn't have one of those.
I want to hate it, but I don't. And
They all just kind of
But-
dream. They dream that they're racing each other.
How many times can you shift in one fucking scene? Like, it's got to be a dream. It can't be real.
I think 8, maybe. I don't know. Number 13 for me, Fast and the Furious: Rise of the Machines. Arnold Schwarzenegger comes along with them on this adventure as the Terminator, and he has to
oh my
save,
god.
So
he has to save all of humanity from the new robot overlords.
Dude, if you have a Transformers in there, I'm gonna shit myself.
I do.
Yes. I just went Luck of the Furious.
I like it.
Oh, for 13.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like that.
I
Nice.
like it. That's a good. That's
Simple.
my favorite. So
Simple.
far.
Clean,
Luck of
easy,
the
I like it.
Furious.
Yeah.
Yep. My next one might be the one I'm most proud of. Not necessarily a pun, but it's just Fast 14. However,
Yeah, that's a good one.
However, there's a slash in between the 1 and the 4, which represents a quarter mile, because that's what they race on. Is a
Let
quarter
me-
mile
The
out of
me hop
time.
entire
on that
movie
one.
takes course in that
Over-
1/4 mile.
Oh, yeah, it's the final scene. It's the quarter
would
mile to
watch that.
determine everything. So it's Fast
I
forward
like it.
1/4 for 14.
Originally, I started out with it was going to be my 13. I was going to do the first quarter mile, and obviously spelling, the 13 was going to be F13 RST. But so now, to me, I just changed it to the quarter mile Fury. But for me, this is my back in time one where we go to the first quarter mile race that Drew has referenced. But I like yours as well, Travis. It's a good one.
Go ahead,
I,
Drew.
I was proud of that one.
For me, Number 14 is Fast and the Furious Furry Road. It's a post-apocalyptic movie, but all of the opposing characters are furries dressed in full costume.
Drew, your other ones were good. That was rough.
Whatever. I'm actually probably most proud of that one.
All of the other ones kind of like could work. That one, meh.
It could have just been Fury Road, but I wanted to put a little twist on it.
Right. I would have given you Fury Road or Furious Road or whatever.
Imagine Mad Max Furry Road, where everyone is dressed in furry costumes.
Ben, what's your
All right.
14?
I'm gonna go 14, and then I'm gonna say my 15 because they kind of go hand in hand. My first three titles were a little bit off the wall. I wanted to have something that really dug into just like the true base of the movies. So 14, I went The Furious 14, Family First, and then 15, I went The Furious 15, Family Forever. That was my 14 and 15.
Is that one of those
It's like a sequel kind
Yeah,
of
is
thing?
that
Yeah.
two-part
yeah,
movie?
like
Yeah,
14,
100%.
15, first, and then Forever.
I like that a lot.
Somebody maybe potentially dies at the end of 14, and then they spend all of 15 like trying to figure out what happened, or like they get taken.
Yeah, like
I
part one,
that.
part two.
I like that. Yep.
In,
Yeah,
in the same
works.
vein, Ben, I assume at this point a plethora of characters have been introduced, and over the course of all of the movies, there have been about 15 good guys. So I just said the final 15
Nice.
is my title for the 15th movie.
I went Furious Island, and the I and the S is the 15.
Of course it is.
Ooh, yes, it is.
So
That's good.
That's what I went. That's
like
what I
that one a
went.
lot.
Is that
For
on Netflix
15.
right now? Where they like to
Yeah. It's directly to Netflix.
It's a Hallmark movie, actually.
All right, Drew. Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Drew.
All right, number 15, Fast and the Furious Cars. Where Dominic and Brian break down in the middle of nowhere, and they get accused of messing up the road, so they have to spend ample amounts of time in the movie learning some really valuable life lessons and repairing the road and becoming friends with the entire township.
Do they fall in love with a Porsche in Radiator Springs?
Yeah, 100%. And they get white walled tires.
Yeah, they do.
It's as much as I love that, Drew. I think that kind of ruined your whole.
No,
it didn't.
No.
I got one more
Uh,
for 16.
The Furry Road was the one that was like
Yeah.
a bit of a like, if you had gone Fury Road, I'd been like, okay, I like this. Drew with 16.
16 is Fast and the Furious Dark of the Moon, where Transformers crash to Earth and all of the cast members of the regular Fast and Furious are surprised that their cars can now transform into robots, and then they have to fight the evil cyborg aliens, who wasn't that great, but
Appreciate that you gave us your script play with each of these
also
titles.
Shia LaBeouf was in it. So
Naturally.
Ben, what was yours?
All right, so mine was kind of a play off of the kids that have come out of this movie, like Brian's kids and everything. So I did Sweet 16, The Faster They Grow.
ooh, I like
Okay.
that one a lot.
And I just went Fast and Furious, which was the name of the fourth movie, Fast and Furious Squared.
Hey.
I didn't have a good one for 16.
I really like
The
that one.
entire population of 5% nerds love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
all the
I
math
love it.
people. I
Hashtag
like.
math joke. What? Guys, I think we actually missed last call somehow. What? We talked way too. We got into it, and I like it. But we're gonna have to go to a different bar to find a drink apparently, because there's no last call here. So you can
Tragic for sure.
tragic. Well, I think there was a last call. We just missed it.
Yeah.
I dropped my pen. Guys, you can find us on Twitter at @the_barbanter. We have a LinkedIn. No, we don't have a LinkedIn. We have a
Can we? Can we?
Why would we have a LinkedIn, Travis? Are we collectively looking for a job?
Can we please?
we have a YouTube and an Instagram that
I'm
I
down
haven't
for it.
updated in a while, but I need to, and it probably hopefully will be updated by this episode. Follow us, don't follow us, listen, don't listen, suggest topics, don't suggest topics. We don't care because at the end of the day, this is our podcast and you're just along for the ride. Like in Fast and Furious.
For real. Yeah, we get
Can we get a link? That's the name of this episode.
Can we get a LinkedIn?
Get a LinkedIn.